Suffering is one of the great challenges and problems of our human existence. No one willingly wants to suffer. No one willingly wants to embrace pain as part of their daily life. And yet we are very often faced with suffering, whether it is physical or emotional, spiritual desolation, or times of difficulty. We find ourselves faced with pain, whether it is that of our aging bodies or the pain of broken relationships. We all endure something that causes us to suffer. And if we could have it some other way, we most certainly would. Even as Jesus encounters Peter, Peter recognizes that there's something inherently not right about suffering, something not right about taking on such pain. But Jesus sees something greater than Peter. Jesus sees that his suffering will embrace the suffering and pain of all the world, thereby making suffering and pain joined to his redemptive. And it is in that suffering and pain of Jesus that the entire world is saved from the last and greatest suffering, the most difficult pain and loss, that of death. For many of us who are praying together this morning, suffering can often be an everyday occurrence, whether it is through physical illness, the pain of isolation or loneliness, or the challenges that we face, whatever they might be, are all moments of suffering and pain, none of which we wish to embrace, none of which we wish to have as our daily companion. And yet today in this Eucharist, in our commitment to join our sufferings to those of Jesus, indeed those sufferings can be redemptive. Those sufferings can bring hope to a moment when the ultimate suffering and death of Jesus on the cross led not to despair, but to the resurrection. In joining our sufferings to His, our sufferings can change not only our lives, but that of the world, not under our own power, but by God's power, to which we join ourselves. As we celebrate this Eucharist today, in the greatest act of redemption and suffering given for us, as we drink Jesus' blood, as we share His body, as we come to this table, this great sacrifice of reconciliation and healing that overcomes all suffering and pain, will indeed be to our redemption, will indeed be and is a promise and foretaste of that great gift and eternal life that God promises and offers to us should we be faithful, should we, as Jesus says, take up our cross daily and follow Him. May we be strengthened by the gospel today. May we be nourished by the Eucharist we share. And may our suffering indeed be offered for the life of the world, for our own redemption, the salvation of souls, joined to the suffering and the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead.